Now, has the property market finally stalled after the barrage of rate rises and the cost of living crisis? Joining me is REA Group Senior Economist Eleanor Creagh. Eleanor, what do you think? Has it stalled or are we about to see it go again?
Good morning, great to be here. Look, it's not looking like it's stalled. We're seeing a busy close to summer actually. So the number of homes heading to auction is continuing to pick up as we move further through February and activity resumes after that summer holiday break. So far in 2024, auction volumes have been consistently higher than this same time last year. So this week we're seeing 23% more homes headed to auction. And next week, that's up even more. So 39% more homes headed to auction next week. And I think that's reflecting that sustained improvement in conditions on the ground that we saw materializing throughout 2023. And that's kind of continued into 2024. And we're seeing that vendor confidence is still strong. And that's why we've got those strong auction numbers.
Yeah, the strong auction numbers, it can be perceived both ways, though. With more things available, that can affect the price both ways. People can be a little bit more picky and choosy at times.
Certainly that is a factor. We know the supply and demand balance really does impact the momentum in home prices. And housing demand does remain pretty strong at the moment, we think. So auction clearance rates are pretty solid. Nationally, auction clearance rates are sitting close to the highest they've been in the past 2 years. Now, I think that a lot of people are anticipating that interest rates are going to start falling in the second half of this year. And that's probably providing a bit of a tailwind for activity at the moment. But certainly, as you say, we are seeing a big pickup in the number of properties headed to market. And that probably is providing people with a bit more balance or a bit more choice than they had certainly this time last year.
Do you think the interest rates will drop?
I think at the moment it is looking like we're going to see at least one interest rate cut at some point in the second half of this year. We know that the economy is slowing quite markedly, and we know that, I guess, household spending has really declined. And I think that we probably will see that the economy will continue to slow. The unemployment rate will also continue to rise modestly, and I think that we probably will see ourselves aligning for an interest rate cut in the second half of this year.
Demand for share housing, no surprise this, surging to record levels.
Yeah, look, I mean, 2024 certainly hasn't brought much change for the rental market as of yet. So we've still got incredibly tight rental markets around the country. Vacancy rates remain really close to record lows. And after the significant increase in rental prices that we've seen in recent years, rental affordability has deteriorated markedly. And I mean, it's no surprise really that is pushing people towards share accommodation. Not only is it incredibly difficult to find an available rental, but rental prices are much more expensive now. And certainly with cost of living pressures biting elsewhere, we are seeing record demand for share housing. So actually January was the busiest month on record for flatmates.com.au. And really, even on flatmates.com.au, demand for share housing really outweighing the supply of share housing. So in many suburbs, we've got a seeker to listing ratio of 100 to 1, but in the extremes, in those Sydney beachside suburbs that are incredibly popular, the seeker to listing ratio is closer to 300 to 1 in places like Bronte and Tamarama.
That's remarkable, isn't it? Any regional hotspots for people that want to invest? Anything, Eleanor, that's come up on your radar that people could look at? Because that is a real way of being clever about investment when you can't manage to buy something in the city that you live in.
Yes, certainly. And I mean, we're still seeing that the smaller capital city markets do present that relative affordability advantage. So Perth in particular, at the moment, competition remains incredibly tight for buyers. So the number of properties listed for sale in Perth is still hovering around record lows. That's really creating a bit of a seller's market in Perth. And seeing prices continue to rise, strong demand continuing to outweigh the supply of properties for sale. And certainly Perth home prices clocked close to 15% last year, and home price growth looks like it's kicking off strong in Perth this year too.
Taylor Swift again on tonight. It'll be interesting to see if she pops up at one of those auctions. She just said how much she loves Sydney, so we'll watch that with interest. Eleanor, great to chat as always. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for having me.